Welcome back to Turkish Series Stars. If you crave the latest stories from the world of Turkish celebrities, you're right where you belong. Before we dive into today's whirlwind, remember to like, subscribe, and if you want to support us a little more, tap that cattle button to join our community and help us keep the exclusive content coming. Now, let's get into it. Every so often, a reunion rumor catches fire and refuses to burn out. This time, it centers on two names that have never truly left the public's imagination, Özge Yağız and Gökberk Demirci. What looked, at first glance, like a straightforward professional pairing has spiraled into the year's most talked about moment. A refined international perfume house, known for picking faces that embody allure and authenticity, set both of them on the same path once again. What began as a business proposition quickly turned into a story that everyone insists on reading between the lines. Are we witnessing nothing more than a polished collaboration, or is there a current humming beneath the surface that the cameras can't help but capture? It all started weeks ago, when the luxury brand initiated a search for a duo whose on-screen connection could feel visceral, almost tangible. The brief was deceptively simple: cast two stars whose presence together could linger like a memory you can't shake. They wanted magnetism, they wanted history, and they wanted it to feel honest. They found all of that and more. First, the offer landed with Özge. She is adored, admired, and laser-focused, and yet those closest to the process say her first reaction was not about money, nor about reach, it was about the name paired with hers. When she learned that Gökberk was in the running, everything changed. An insider shared a telling detail: once she heard his name, her decision came in a breath. If he steps in, I'm ready. Her acceptance was clear, swift, and intimately tied to the possibility of standing opposite him again. The message was unmistakable and the public felt it immediately. Gökberk did not hesitate either, but he did set a boundary. According to a source within the creative team, he insisted that the campaign be shot with a minimal, almost raw aesthetic. He wanted their scenes stripped down, fewer lights, fewer tricks, more truth. "I don't care about a flashy check," he reportedly told the team, "I care about whether this feels alive." With Özge involved, I know it can. News of the pairing spread like a summer storm. Social platforms filled with old clips and fan edits celebrating their past work, and a reunion tag rose to the top of trending lists. People wrote long captions about faded timing and unlearned lessons, and comments flooded timelines. This was inevitable, one follower wrote, they were always going to find their way back to the same frame. Another said, Özge doesn't choose projects like this without a deeper compass, this means something. Soon after, Özge appeared at a public event, her poise intact despite the swarm of questions. Pressed about her decision to accept the campaign with him, she answered in her thoughtful cadence. "I don't often interpret my career choices through personal narratives," she said, "but there are people with whom working feels effortless. Gökberk is one of those people." The statement was measured, yet it sent sparks into the dry air of speculation. For his part, Gökberk stayed in his quiet lane. Leaving a studio one evening, he met the microphones with a calm smile and a short answer that seemed to say everything and nothing. "Some bonds don't require explanations," he said, stepping into a car and leaving a strange silence hanging in his wake. That single line replayed across talk shows and social feeds like a chorus that nobody could get out of their heads. Production chose a hotel along the Bosphorus as the heart of the shoot, a place where the hallways echo and windows pour blue light into the rooms. Early photos from the set showed them laughing during downtime, sharing glances that felt familiar, and sliding effortlessly into the rhythm that made audiences root for them in the first place. A crew member whispered that their ease together was unnerving in the best way. It felt like watching a memory return to the person who lost it, soft at first, then suddenly crystal clear. There was one moment on set that people still won't stop talking about. The director designed a scene without dialogue, without score, just silence and breath. The instruction was simple: face each other and let the camera catch whatever happens. When the take ended, the room seemed to collect itself from a trance. Gökberk joked with a half-smile that music might be unnecessary here. Özge replied, equally soft, if you listen closely, there is already a song. That line flew across the internet within hours, not as a quote to be analyzed, but as a feeling to be shared. The campaign's first teaser arrived soon after, a 30-second window into a rain-wet Istanbul night. In the clip, they move through wet streets like two halves of a story that keeps rewriting itself. A glance meets a glance, the rest is left for the audience to hear in their own hearts. The closing line lingered over a black screen. Certain fragrances call back memories that never learned to fade. Viewers took it as a graceful nod to a shared past that everyone, somehow, remembers. On her social feed, Özge posted a still from the shoot and wrote a sentence that sounded like a secret meant for anyone willing to read it. There are projects that arrive exactly when they are supposed to. That alone would have been enough to keep the conversation going. Then came his response, nothing dramatic, nothing wordy, just a simple gesture, he commented with a heart emoji. That tiny symbol ignited a wildfire. People asked for more? More photos, more scenes, more of them occupying the same frame, real or fictional. Television panels began to dissect the teaser like it was a puzzle box. Body language experts traced the line of a smile, the distance between shoulders, the tilt of a chin, building entire theories out of details a casual viewer wouldn't even register. The camera operators doubled down on the grainy behind-the-scenes clips, and the morning shows replayed their quiet exchange like it was the final act of a love story only just starting. Of course, not everyone watched with uncomplicated joy. Whispers surfaced that someone close to Gökberk, described by one outlet as his current partner, did not take kindly to the rising fervor. A source said she saw the commercial and made a stinging comment, that look isn't acting. No names were attached, and no statements were made, but the air around the story sharpened. Meanwhile, neither of them addressed the romance talk directly. The silence, if anything, made the rumor mill spin faster. Then came the bigger chatter, industry gossip that a major streaming platform had already sensed the frenzy and wanted to build on it. According to one well-placed journalist, quiet conversations are underway to bring them back in a sweeping romantic series, the kind that eats up prime slots and floods timelines with fan theories. There were no contracts yet, only murmurs and cups of coffee in tucked-away corners, but the idea alone set the fandom ablaze. As the final day of the perfume shoot wrapped, the city was sliding into dusk. Paparazzi waited by the hotel's entrance, camera shutters twitching at every movement. The last image of the day broke the internet for a few hours, Özge and Gökberk saying goodbye not with a handshake, but with a long, close embrace. It wasn't theatrical, it wasn't staged, it looked private. He leaned in and said something at her ear that nobody could catch. A second later she smiled in that quiet way that refuses to explain itself. It was a small moment, but it felt like a page turning. Online, the comments flooded in. People wrote long paragraphs about endings that want to be beginnings and about the strange mercy of timing. Some insisted that this is the start of a new chapter, others argued that some stories are more powerful when left untitled. What nobody could deny was the pull. Whether it's nostalgia, chemistry, or something else entirely, the gravity is unmistakable. So where does this leave everything? The campaign is poised to roll out internationally, and industry watchers say the brand could not have asked for a better prelude. The rumors about a series persist, reinforced by whispers about scheduling windows and sample scripts being floated to their teams. Friends of friends claim meetings are being taken. No matter how much either of them tries to maintain the boundary between a set and a heart, the world keeps trying to peek through the curtain. Back on the platforms where this all began, fans keep posting edits set to stormy ballads and captioning them with quotes from scenes they loved years ago. Side-by-side photos make rounds with comments about eyes that tell stories and hands that remember their choreography. The moment is here, and it is entirely theirs. And yet, beneath the romance of it all, there's a more grounded truth. These are two professionals who know that the camera only magnifies what it's given. They asked for intimacy in the execution, and they brought it. They asked for authenticity, and they let it show. The result is a campaign that feels less like an advertisement and more like a glance stolen through a slightly open door. Whether this reunion is confined to sets and storyboards, or whether it spills gently into real life, remains unknown. Maybe that uncertainty is the reason the narrative holds. It allows everyone to believe what they wish, that timing can make amends, that chemistry doesn't evaporate, that two people can meet again and find the same language waiting for them. Tell us what you think. Is there more here than a polished collaboration? Do you believe the whispers about a new series, or do you think the magic is best preserved in small, perfect moments? Share your thoughts in the comments. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, and click the cattle button to support Turkish series stars. We're watching this story closely, and will bring you every new detail as soon as it surfaces.